Alright, y'all, it's that time of the year again. My 2020 Oscar nomination predictions. Y'all ready? It's lit.
I came to vibe, you came to function, just do that, baby. Don't worry about nothing, no. I came to vibe, you came to function, just do that, baby. Don't worry about nothing, no.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy Bright here, the R&B Kid. I'm back again for the video for y'all. So we're going to be doing things a little bit differently today. I always talk about music on my channel, but for my long-time viewers and supporters and subscribers, y'all know I'm a low-key film head. I'm a low-key cinephile. I love films. So I don't talk about films all year round, but you know the Oscars are coming around, so I wanted to give y'all my predictions for the Oscar nominations. They will be dropping on January 13th, which is this Monday. But I wanted to give you guys my predictions before they came out. I know this video is a little bit late, but I've been doing mad shit, so I'm sorry, y'all. But we've now had the Golden Globes happen. We've had the BAFTA nominations and pretty much all the... I've not actually checked out in detail all the Guild nominations, but we've had pretty much all the Guild nominations come out. I think the only SAG nominations have come out. The only thing that hasn't come out yet is the winners of SAG and BAFTA, but... we have a good peek into where things are going, so I'm going to give y'all my predictions for who will be nominated for Oscars come Monday. For this video, I'm not going to get into all the technical categories because I feel like I haven't watched enough to really dive into those categories where I really want to. So I'm just going to be touching on picture, director, actor, actress, supporting actress, and both of the screenplay categories. If I do, hopefully when I do a video for my predictions for the winners for Oscars, I'll definitely go into all the technical categories, but for now I just wanted to touch on the main ones above the line, and just keep it at that for now. But if you guys want my thoughts on any of the technical categories and who you think will be nominated before the nominations come out, you know, you're welcome to put them in the comments and I'll let y'all know. But yeah, man, let's get into this video. I'm excited. Before I get into the video, I just want to say this year it was probably... I don't think I've ever been more excited for an Oscar year ever because 2019 was such an amazing year for films. Definitely a landmark year for cinema. Like, there was so many good movies coming out back to back in 2019. So I'm just hella excited to see how this Oscar season will shake out and how things will play out. If I had to think about some frontrunners for now in terms of who will be winning, I would say maybe 1917 in the craft categories, and maybe Once Upon a Time in Hollywood in the above the line categories, and you know, just across the board too. I don't know, but I feel like those are definitely two of my frontrunners. It's definitely 1917 and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But I'm also frustrated because I haven't yet seen 1917 or Little Women because they just came out recently. So those ones I'm a little bit shaky on because I haven't seen them yet, but I've been seeing all the reviews and stuff like that. So yeah, but besides those two movies, I think I've seen almost most of the stuff I'm talking about. And I'm just, like I said, I'm hella excited because 2019 was such a landmark year for films. So I'm excited to see how it all shake out. Man, just looking back on this year was like, god damn, there was so many good movies coming out. I don't know if we'll see another year like this again. We probably will, but this is such a good year, so I'm excited to see how things shake out. But enough rambling, let's get into it. My 2020 Oscar nomination predictions coming right up. Let's go. Alright, y'all, let's start off with Best Picture, the biggest category every year. So for all my categories, I'm trying my best to list off my nomination predictions, mostly by who I think will be winning from least likely to win, or least likely to be nominated. So for Best Picture, I'm gonna do an 8. Because they always do 8 to 10, but I think this year they'll do maybe 8 or 9. I actually hope they do 10 films because it's such a good year for films. But they usually do 8 or 9 categories. So in my final 8 for Best Picture, I have Parasite, 1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, The Irishman, Marriage Story, Joker, Jojo Rabbit, and Little Women. Those are my final 8 in Best Picture. My alternatives and those 9th, 10th spots, I have Bombshell, Ford v Ferrari, and the Two Popes as well. And also thinking, I mean, I don't think it's gonna happen this year, but you can't rule the possibility of like a major dark horse, like an indie film coming out of nowhere and getting a Best Picture nomination. I don't think it'll happen this year because this year is so packed, but it could happen. But yeah, man, so those are my final 8 and some of my alternatives. I feel like this final 8 seems like the final 8 that's kind of been like staying strong all Oscar season. So I don't think this final 8 will get replaced with anything else. But like I said, if someone does sneak in there, I could see it being Bombshell or Ford v Ferrari or The Two Popes. But I think my final 8 is my final 8. So yeah, man, I'm not gonna give y'all my actually no, I will. Why not? As of right now, it's way too dicey to tell, but I think right now best pictures between Parasite, 1917, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I'm very shocked by how much The Irishman has been falling. I thought The Irishman was gonna be like in that first or second place slot for the winner right now, like maybe a few weeks ago, but The Irishman has really been struggling to pick up like everything. It didn't pick up anything at the Golden Globes. It has really struggled with getting a lot of nominations, especially for like Robert De Niro, and it's been interesting. So The Irishman has not been doing well at all this award season so far. I'm very shocked by that, because I thought it was, to me, like The Irishman is like Oscar bait, but for some reason it just hasn't been translating that well with awards, even though I think audiences have loved it. I liked it, so we'll see. But I think right now I would say it's a three-way race between Parasite, 1917, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, with The Irishman being right up there. And I'm very surprised by 1917. Like I said, it just came out. Like no one's seen it. I haven't seen it. I'm pretty sure you haven't seen it as of like today. Today's January 9th, so I haven't seen it. But it somehow picked up to the biggest awards of the Golden Globes. No one saw it coming. I was hella shocked when it picked up director and motion picture drama at the Golden Globes. I was like, what? So that was a shock, but maybe it's that good. But I'm also confused because I feel like it looks like, even though it does have that whole one take narrative, this is not the first movie that is a one take film. And to me, it's just another war movie. It's a war film. And in a year with so many interesting movies like Parasite, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Irishman, Marriage Story, it's like Joker. It's like, I don't understand why the 1917 really won the Golden Globe for Best Picture. I mean, it probably looks like it seems like it's gonna be a great film, but I just feel like there's so many other films with so many interesting narratives this year, and interesting plots, and interesting, you know, I don't know, interesting stories, that I'm surprised that a war film has been slowly coming out of nowhere to lead the pack. But you know, it is what it is. So that's my predictions for Best Picture. Let me know what y'all think about my final 8 down below. Alright y'all, so now we're on to Best Director. So here are my predictions for Best Director. We're gonna have Bong Joon-ho, Martin Scorsese, Sam Mendes, Quentin Tarantino, and Todd Phillips. Which it's just so crazy hearing me say that, but I'm gonna predict Todd Phillips for that 5th spot. So Best Director has been really interesting all season. It looked like early in the season it was a race between Martin Scorsese and Quentin Tarantino. But now, ever since I saw Parasite, I was like, oh no, Bong Joon-ho has to be like in this discussion, because what he did in Parasite was just amazing. And Parasite is one of my favorite movies I think I've ever seen in my lifetime. I just want to say that. Parasite should win Best Picture. It probably won't, but it should, and I'm hoping it does. But besides that, what Bong Joon-ho did in Parasite was amazing, and it was an amazing achievement. So I'm glad he's finally in this discussion as a frontrunner, not just as a 4th, 5th place spot. He's my pick to win, but he has a lot to overcome right now. He didn't get the Golden Globe, and we have to see what happens at BAFTA, but he didn't get the Golden Globe, so I don't know what's gonna happen with him. I don't think he's gonna win, but he deserves to. Yeah, and like I said, this was a battle between Scorsese and Tarantino at first, but now they've actually moved into those 3rd, 4th spots, and Sam Mendes has actually moved up because he won the Globe for Best Director, which is very interesting, because I thought he was in that 4th, 5th, place slot, but he's moving up, so he has a great chance to be a spoiler as well. But I honestly still think at the end of the day that the Oscar is between Bong Joon-ho and Martin Scorsese. We have to see what happens. And Todd Phillips, to me, was always in my alternative list, but now he's actually my final 5 because he's been racking up nominations left and right. I think he got the Directors Guild, and he did get the nomination for the Globes and the BAFTAs too, which means he's really in there. I think he's in there for a nomination. And I think he did a great job in Joker, but I'm just very surprised that he's been getting all this love in place of Noah Baumbach and Greta Gerwig, who I just thought would be shoo-ins for director nominations across the board this season. One or the other, if not both. But shout out to Todd Phillips. I'm good for him for all the love he's been getting, but I'm very surprised by all the love he's been getting as a director for Joker. But Joker is a very beloved film by a lot of people, so it makes sense. But yeah, man, Todd Phillips for me is in that 5th spot. In that fifth spot, I was battling between Noah Baumbach and Greta Gerwig, but it seems like Todd Phillips is taking that spot, so I'll give it to him. So those are my final 5. And my alternatives, I now have Taika Waititi, Noah Baumbach, and Greta Gerwig. Taika Waititi was always in that last spot for me, but now he's actually moved up because I think he did get the Guild nomination. I think he did, so he's moving up. And Noah Baumbach and Greta Gerwig seem to be falling as the awards season goes on, which I'm very surprised by, but it's happening. The direction that Noah Baumbach had in Marriage Story was dope, but it seems like he's getting passed over for in place of him getting recognized as a producer and as a writer, which is fine. But he really did do an amazing job as a director of Marriage Story. So it's sad that he's not getting that love, but it is what it is. And then Greta Gerwig really should be. I was hoping she would have been the sole female representative for directors this year, for her direction of Little Women. But it seems like she just is dealing with all these men in a very competitive year. And I think if this had been a less competitive year, Greta Gerwig would have been in there, just like when she was nominated for directing Lady Bird. But this year is so competitive that I really feel like there's just not going to be room for Greta Gerwig. But it's sad because there always should be at least, I feel like there should always be at least one woman in this category. Not because it's a woman, but because I feel like our kids need to see this type of diversity on a regular basis. But at the end of the day, it's not about the gender, it's about the work of the director. So you know, it is what it is, but it's just sad that we probably won't have a woman being nominated this year. But I digress. So that's my final 5 for Best Director. My pick as of right now is Bong Joon-ho, but like I said, it's hard because he hasn't been winning anything. So this could be it could be a 3-horse race between Bong Joon-ho, Sam Mendes, and maybe Scorsese or Quentin. I don't know. This one's hard to call. Let me know what y'all think about Best Director down below. Alright, y'all, now we're on to Best Actor. So my final 5 for Best Actor. This race is incredibly packed this year. It's stacked, but in my final 5, I have Joaquin Phoenix, Adam Driver, Leonardo DiCaprio, Taron Egerton, which I never thought I'd be saying, but Taron Egerton, and Antonio Banderas. That's what I have my final 5 for Best Actor. I feel good about this final 5 besides Antonio because he hasn't really picking up a lot of nominations. He missed BAFTA, he missed SAG, but I still feel like Antonio has a lot of goodwill in the industry that he'll sail his way to an Oscar nomination. But like I said, he's been struggling to get a lot of stuff besides his Golden Globe nomination. So he's shaky. If Antonio were to be replaced by anybody, in my alternative list, I have Christian Bale, Jonathan Pryce, Robert De Niro, Eddie Murphy, and Adam Sandler. I think out of that group, it would either be Christian Bale or Jonathan Pryce that could take him out. But I think they'll keep Antonio Banderas in there. To me, Joaquin's taking this. This is gonna be Joaquin's year. This is his to lose, and as he should win it, because what Joaquin Phoenix did in Joker was just like one of my favorite performances that I've ever seen by an actor. I think, in my opinion. So this should be his to take, hands down. But we can't sleep on Adam Driver, who did an amazing job in Marriage Story, but we can't sleep on him. But Adam Driver has more years ahead of him, so I'm not pressed for him to win this year. Leonardo DiCaprio seems like he's in there. He's been getting everything he needs. He's in there. Taron Egerton has been getting almost everything he needs, surprisingly, and he did win the Golden Globe, which finally made me bump him in my final 5. And he's actually like now in that 4th spot because he's been getting everything compared to Banderas, you know. And like I said, Banderas is in my 5th spot, but he's shaky. He could be replaced by Christian Bale or Jonathan Pryce, like I said. And outside dark horses, in this group we have Robert De Niro, who I'm very surprised has been not getting anything all award season. I thought he was going to be a lock for Best Actor across the board all season, but he's not picked up one nomination, not a Globe, not a SAG, not a BAFTA, nothing. Which I'm very surprised by. Robert De Niro is a whole legend out here, but apparently everyone's saying, you know what, De Niro, we're going to give it to Pesci and Pacino instead, which I can see, but I thought Robert De Niro did a great job in The Irishman. So I'm surprised he hasn't getting love, but it is what it is. And also Eddie Murphy and Adam Sandler. I don't think Eddie Murphy and Adam Sandler are on to nomination at all, but they have been in the conversation, so I just want to mention them. And they also are actors who seem like not overdue for an Oscar, but definitely deserving of an Oscar if it were to come this year, because neither of them have won, and I think Eddie's only been nominated once, and I don't think Adam Sandler has ever been nominated. So, you know, that also adds to discussion. But this year is so stacked that I don't think anybody else besides those top 7 are making it in. So I feel good about my final 5, but let me know what y'all think about it down below. Alright y'all, now we're on to Best Actress. So this was the category that I actually thought was not that bad in terms of predicting my final 5 for the Oscars all award season. But to me, this category, Best Actor was the category that I was like, damn it, I can't figure this out. But I think Best Actress has now become the category I'm like, I don't actually know what's happening at all compared to Best Actor. I think Best Actress is the one where I'm like, those 4th and 5th spots, it could be between 4 different women. So let's get into it. My final 5 for Best Actress, I have Renee Zellweger, Scarlett Johansson, Charlize Theron, Cynthia Erivo, and Awkwafina. That's what I have my final 5 for Best Actress. I don't feel good about my 4th and the top 3 are locked. They're locked dead in. Renee Zellweger should be winning this, as she should in my opinion. I think she did an amazing job as Judy Garland. Her performance, even though Judy was an okay movie, her performance was amazing in that movie in my opinion. So Renee Zellweger should be taking this. I feel like this is also a good time in her career to be taking home her 2nd Oscar too. It's a good time in her career to take her 2nd, and then, you know, and then she can go quiet for a while, but this is a good time for her to take her 2nd. Scarlett Johansson is right up there. She could spoil, but I don't see it happening. But if Renee were to lose to somebody, I could see Scarlett Johansson taking this for her role in Marriage Story. Charlize Theron, I think, is also a lock as well. She's beginning everything she needs. I haven't seen Bombshell yet, but she's beginning everything she needs. So now for the 4th and 5th spots, which makes this category so hard to predict. It's between 4 ladies. In my final 4th and 5th spots, I have Cynthia Erivo and Awkwafina. But in my alternatives, we also do have Lupita Nyong'o and Saoirse Ronan. I haven't seen Little Women, like I said, but Saoirse Ronan did pick up the Globe and the BAFTA nomination, even though she missed SAG. So that's what she missed. And Lupita missed the Globe and the BAFTA, but she did get SAG. Alright, so I'm rooting for Lupita. I actually had Lupita in my final 5 up until like this past week because I thought she would just get it. I thought she would get that last spot. But I couldn't ignore the fact that Awkwafina did win her Globe for Best Actress in a Musical or Comedy, which means that person usually is on to an Oscar nomination no matter what. Usually. I think last time the person that won that award didn't get the Oscar nomination was Amy Adams back in like 2014, I think, when she wasn't nominated for the Oscar for her role in Big Eyes, even though she won the Globe for that role. So that's a statistic I don't really want to go against, so that's why I put in Awkwafina in my final 5. But Awkwafina was in my final 5 up until now. But I loved her role in The Farewell. I thought she was amazing. I didn't think she'd make it into the top 5, but now I think I gotta put her in there. Cynthia Erivo also hasn't missed a beat up until her lack of a BAFTA nomination. But the reason why I'm a little bit shaky on Cynthia Erivo too is because she has a lot of drama surrounding her role in Harriet, understandably so. And also she's very new to the Oscar race, so we don't know how the voters really feel about her until she does get nominated. So that's why she's shaky as well, even though she got the Globe and SAG, but she missed BAFTA. So everybody in this race in the last 4 have missed like something. So I don't really know who to put in those final 4th and 5th spots, but for now I'm gonna go with Cynthia Erivo and Awkwafina. But I wouldn't be surprised if Lupita or Saoirse did sneak in there, you know. I really want Lupita to get in there because her role in Us was just amazing, and what she did in that movie was amazing, and I feel like it should be recognized. But it's very hard on paper for an actress to be nominated for an Oscar with them being the sole nominee for that movie, and that movie was a horror movie. It's almost never happened. So Lupita would have to be overcoming a lot to get the nomination, but I'm rooting for her because she was so good in Us. But this is also a very stacked year. And then Saoirse Ronan, I think Little Women will do very well at the Oscars. So if Little Women does do very well at the Oscars, Saoirse Ronan could be a part of that. Overperforming, she could be a part of that. And she's also an Oscar darling. She's been nominated plenty of times before. But I do think she'll sit back this year to give room for some new people, Cynthia and Awkwafina. And I think they'll be comfortable just giving Little Women, Love and Picture, Screenplay, and some below the line categories. I think they'll keep it at that. But if they were to nominate actors, Saoirse would get in there in place of Cynthia or Awkwafina, but I don't know who. This one's very hard. I feel good about my final 5, but I'm not going to sleep on Lupita or Saoirse. But let me know what y'all think about Best Actress down below. Alright y'all, now we're on to Best Supporting Actor. This one to me is definitely one of the easiest categories to predict this year. Definitely the easiest category to predict. The top 4 are locked in. We have Brad Pitt, Joe Pesci, Al Pacino, Tom Hanks. And for my final 5th spot, this is very controversial and a lot of people have not predicted this, but I'm going to go with Song Kang-ho. This seems hella random, but I'm gonna stick with it. Brad Pitt's winning. He's been steamrolling this whole season, as he should. He was amazing as Cliff Booth in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I loved his role in that movie. It was amazing. He definitely should be winning it. And just like Renee Zellweger, I feel like this is a good time for him to win his first acting Oscar. His second Oscar, but his first acting Oscar. I feel like this is a good time for him to win it. It's a good time in his career for him to take it. So this is Brad Pitt's to lose. Between the two Irishmen, I don't see either of them taking over Brad Pitt. I'm personally Team Pacino. I loved Al Pacino more than Pesci in The Irishman, but I know a lot of people love Joe Pesci. Joe Pesci was amazing in The Irishman, but I personally loved Al Pacino a little bit more. I just thought Al Pacino had a more memorable role to me. I liked what he did in the movie more. But Joe Pesci's subtlety, his subtle power in that movie was very dope too. It was very dope to watch. So Joe Pesci did a great job too. So both of them are definitely locks, but I don't think either of them will win because Brad Pitt's here. And Tom Hanks is definitely in that 4th spot for his role as Mr. Rogers. That 5th spot is up for grabs for a lot of men. I'm giving it to Song Kang-ho because I feel like even though Parasite isn't, I don't think it's seen as like an actor's movie. Maybe I mean I don't know. I don't think it's seen as like an actor's movie compared to a lot of other films this year, but I still feel like they're gonna want to give some love to Parasite as much as they can across the board. So I feel like Song Kang-ho could be a part of that, and I feel like he's also the most in line for nomination compared to every other category. Best actor and actress is done. That's stacked up. Best supporting actress, I don't see anybody from Parasite making it into that category, but Song Kang-ho does have a shot in best supporting actor, so I think they'll give it to him. I think he'll be that 5th place nomination. I think he will, but he hasn't gotten anything all year, so it'll be very hard for him it'll be very hard for him to overcome that. But I think he can do it. He didn't get Critics' Choice, he didn't get the Globe, he didn't get SAG, he didn't get BAFTA, but for some reason I still want to predict him. I don't know why, and the reason why is because in my alternatives I have Anthony Hopkins, William Dafoe, Jamie Foxx, and Alan Alda in my alternatives in this category. Anthony Hopkins has been getting a lot of stuff. He did get the Golden Globe nomination and the BAFTA nomination. He missed SAG, but the reason why I don't have him listed is because I feel like if they're gonna nominate the actors from the 2 popes, I feel like they'll have to go with both and not one or the other. I don't see them nominating one or the other. Jonathan Pryce will have a hard time getting into that final 5 in Best Actor, so I don't see them nominating Anthony Hopkins and not him. But Anthony Hopkins is also a veteran who is like an Oscar, like who's beloved by the Oscars, so he could get it. He could get that 5th place spot. I wouldn't be surprised, but I just feel like I feel like they'd feel bad nominating Hopkins and not Jonathan Pryce. So I feel like that's why I'm not predicting him. But we'll see. And then William Dafoe could get into as a dark horse. I loved him in The Lighthouse. I thought he was amazing in The Lighthouse. Amazing performance. But that movie hasn't really translated with audiences that much. So that's why I don't think Lighthouse will really get into anything besides cinematography. But Dafoe could surprise. He's got nominations for the past 2 years. And last year was a very surprise nomination with this role in what was it? At Eternity's Gate as Van Gogh. So he could surprise again this year. I won't sleep on him. And then Jamie Foxx and Alan Alda are also 2 other dark horses that I could see happening. I doubt it, but it could happen. Jamie Foxx did pick up the SAG nomination for his role in Just Mercy. And Alan Alda hasn't been really named all season, but he could be like another like Marina de Tavira of this year. Someone who didn't pick up anything and all of a sudden got the Oscar nomination at the last minute. Alan Alda to me was one of my favorite parts of Marriage Story. I liked him even more than Laura Dern, honestly. But he hasn't really been getting love all award season, but I loved Alan Alda in Marriage Story, so maybe that could happen too. I just put him in there, but I don't think it happened, but it could. But yeah, I feel good about my top 4 in this category. Song Kang-ho is shaky, but I'm pulling out for him. We'll see. But if Song Kang-ho doesn't make it, I could definitely see either Anthony Hopkins or William Dafoe, or maybe even Jamie Foxx taking that last spot. But let's see what happens. Let me know what y'all think about this category down below. Alright y'all, now we're on to Best Supporting Actress. So this is definitely the most annoying category of this year and the most random of this year because the top 3 spots are locked, but the bottom 2 are kind of like so in my final 5 for Best Supporting Actress, I have Laura Dern, Jennifer Lopez, shout out to J-Lo. I never thought I'd see this day. I mean, well, we have to wait until it happens, but Margot Robbie, Scarlett Johansson, and I'm gonna say it, Zhao Shuzhen. I'm gonna say it. Laura Dern is winning this. She's won everything so far. In my opinion, I have to talk about this. I thought Laura Dern was good in Marriage Story, but I don't really see the hype behind her role in that movie. I don't see the hype. I felt like she was in the movie for like 5 minutes, and she had a great monologue at one point, and her presence was felt, and she was good in her role. But I just don't see what's Oscar winning, like Oscar worthy about her role, in my opinion. But I love Laura Dern. If anything, give her. I feel like honestly this Oscar's for her role as Renata Klein. I honestly feel like that's the truth. Her role in Marriage Story was great, but I don't understand what the hype is about. I feel like this is people giving her like a second Emmy in the form of an Oscar for her role as Renata, which is, she killed her role as Renata. But like in this movie, I thought she was just okay, in my opinion. But everyone loves her in this movie, so I'll take it. But whatever. And I think also Laura Dern has become the front runner, because I don't think the industry wants to see Jennifer Lopez win an Oscar, which is why I think Laura Dern is the front runner for this category. That's my conspiracy theory. Jennifer Lopez couldn't even pick up the Golden Globe, so. Yeah, so Laura Dern's winning this. Jennifer Lopez, I think, is a lock, but also, like I said, I could see her being snubbed in terms of her being J-Lo, you know? Margot Robbie's in there, I'm assuming, for Bombshell and not Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Scarlett Johansson, I have her in here for her role as JoJo's mother in Jojo Rabbit. I think she did a great job in that film, and even though she did miss the Golden Globe, and I think she missed the Golden Globe with that role, she did pick up the SAG and the BAFTA with that role, so I think she's in there. That fifth place spot is hard. I'm giving to Zhao Zhuzhen. She hasn't got anything all year. She also could be another like Marini de Tavira of this year. I think it'll happen. I think Zhao Zhuzhen is being set up for an Oscar nomination. She missed out on the Golden Globe, the SAG, and the BAFTA, but I still feel like they'll give her the Oscar nomination in support of The Farewell, and also because I feel like that fifth spot, I feel like they'd rather give it to a veteran who's really old than someone who some other actresses I'll name in a second who are younger and have more time to win their Oscars. So I think Zhao is in that fifth place spot for me. And she was amazing as the grandmother in The Farewell. She was amazing in that film. She was the best part of that film, besides Awkwafina. So that's my pick for my fifth spot, but let's see what happens. And my alternatives for Best Supporting Actress, I have Florence Pugh, Kathy Bates, Nicole Kidman, Annette Bening, and as a really dark horse, but maybe it could happen, Lee Jung-eun from Parasite. So I feel if any of these ladies were to get in, I have my money on Florence Pugh from Little Women. I have my money on her. I haven't seen Little Women, like I said, but she's a new, young actress ingenue who's kind of making her name in the industry. She's making her way. So I could see her. I could see this being her first nomination. And I heard a lot of good things about her role in Little Women, so she can get in there. But I still feel like they'll give it to Zhao Zhuzhen. I still feel like they'll give that last spot to her, but we'll see what happens. Kathy Bates and Nicole Kidman both picked up the Globe nomination. I don't think either of them got. Oh, Kathy Bates and Annette Bening both got the Globe nomination. And Nicole Kidman picked up the SAG. But I don't see any of those ladies making it to the final 5, but one of them could spoil. And Lee Jung-eun, I don't think it's gonna happen, but to me that was just like a dark horse that I just wanted to put in there because it could happen. So this category is kind of all over the place, but let me know what y'all think about Best Supporting Actress down below. Alright y'all, now we're on to Best Original Screenplay. So I don't have too much to say about this category. I feel like this category is pretty straightforward. In my final 5, I have Parasite, Marriage Story, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, The Farewell, and Knives Out. This final 5 seems like the strongest 5 that have been making it through all award season. I think this will be a final battle between Parasite and Marriage Story, but also we can't sleep on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, who won the Globe for this award. So, but I think the Oscar will be between Parasite and Marriage Story. We'll have to see. Actually, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood actually very well could take this, because if it wins Best Picture, it very well could take this as well. But I feel like personally, Parasite and Marriage Story were just miles better scripts ahead of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I feel like they were way better stories than Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, way better scripts. But Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, usually picture and screenplay usually match up, so we can't sleep on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And then The Farewell and Knives Out will just be in there as nominations. My alternatives for this category. Booksmart, which I think picked up a surprising screenplay nomination at the BAFTAs, so I can't sleep on it, because I know the BAFTAs and the Oscars share a lot of voting members, so I can't sleep on Booksmart. 1917, even though it's not a very like script heavy movie, I've heard just because I think it'll be a front runner for Best Picture. I feel like it could maybe, you know, sneak into this category. It could. Also, Bombshell, Uncut Gems, and Pain and Glory. Those to me are all like dark horses in this category, but I feel really good about my final 5. So let me know what y'all think about Best Original Screenplay down below. Alright y'all, last category I'm going to talk about, Best Adapted Screenplay. So this category is also very straightforward as well. I feel like this final 5, the 5 will definitely see being nominated for the Oscar. I'll be surprised if anybody else were to make it in. In my final 5, I have The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Little Women, The Two Popes, and Joker. I think this will be the final 5. These are the 5 we've been seeing pretty much like all award season. My alternatives are A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Hustlers, and Just Mercy. One of those maybe could sneak in, but I doubt it. I feel really good about my final 5. I feel like this will be definitely going to The Irishman. I feel like if The Irishman loses everything else, this will be the one Oscar that it does get on Oscar night. Appropriately so, as it should. That script and that story was amazing. But let's see. I don't want to sleep on Jojo Rabbit and maybe even Joker. I don't want to sleep on those movies. Joker had an amazing script in my opinion. But yeah, I feel like this will be The Irishman's to lose. But let me know what y'all think about a Best Adapted Screenplay down below. Alright y'all, so those are all my predictions for the 2020 Oscar nominations. Like I said, the nominations will be coming out this Monday, January 13th. I'll try and get this video out to you guys as soon as I can. In the meantime, comment down below. Let me know what you think about my predictions. Let me know who you think is getting nominated. And also let me know down below what y'all think about this whole award season. What have been some of your favorite movies that you've seen? What are movies that you haven't seen that you're excited to see? Who are you rooting for to be winning Oscars? You know, when they happen next month. Yeah, just give me all your thoughts down below, okay? Appreciate y'all. And if you haven't already, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe as well, okay? Do all that more. Appreciate y'all. Thank you. Alright y'all, but I think I'm about to get off. That's it. I think I've said everything I need to say. Hopefully I didn't forget anything. Yeah, I think that's it. But yeah, man, this has been your boy Bright, the R&B Kid. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. But for now, I'm signing off, baby. Bye, y'all. Peace.
I came to vibe, you came to function, just do that, baby. Don't worry about nothing, no, 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 no. I came to vibe, you came to function, just do that, baby. Don't worry about nothing, no, no, no. Relax just a little bit. You don't gotta worry, you can just have fun.